Good morning, Barrett-Jackson. Are you having a good time today?
Yes.
All right, I've been to kindergartner classes during nap time that sounded more enthusiastic than that. Let's try that again. Are you having a good time today?
Yes.
You are part of history because Barrett-Jackson has only twice introduced a new vehicle right across the auction block, and that was in 2008, as Craig mentioned, with Carol Shelby and Project, what was that? Project, our Hertz convertible. And so we're doing it again today. We are making history once again. This is the new 2024 Shelby Super Snake, and you have the team from the West Coast that have come here. Before I introduce our speakers, I would like to also introduce Cash Singh. Cash is the Director of Marketing and Sales for the dealer programs, and he and Tim Pitzenbarger here are from Las Vegas, and they would be happy to introduce you to the right people who can make one of these go in your garage. We also have Tracy Smith, Executive Vice President with Carol Shelby International, the parent company, and Executive International Director of Team Shelby with 80,000 members worldwide. If you're not a member of this community, I'd have to ask why not, because we have more fun than any other club in the entire world. But today we are here because of these fabulous cars. And in fact, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, which is Gary Patterson. Now, Gary's going to give you a little bit of history because, as you know, there was only one in 1967, but they're making a couple more these days. Gary has been with Shelby since 1996. Every vehicle that is rolled out of there has had his fingerprints on it, sometimes unintentionally. But his nickname is the Director of Fun. He's a true blue enthusiast who doesn't wear a tie like I do. His suit zips up the front. Please welcome the President of Shelby American, Gary Patterson.
Thanks, Scott. And thanks to all of you guys, enthusiasts and the media people. I see a lot of you guys that are out here to see the next one, which is great. We're also here to celebrate 60 years of the Mustang. I mean, who'd have thought, right? 60 years of Mustang. I remember, believe it or not, my father driving in with his 64 and a half high-performance Mustang convertible. So that's been a while. A lot of water's gone over the dam since then. I remember 65 Shelbys. The first Super Snake we ever did since 67, that car was a track car that was made to test Goodyear tires at high speed. It had a 427 in it instead of a 428, a little bit more power. We took that mantra in 2007, and we took a GT500 that Ford had largely built, that we had looked at and so forth. We were real happy with that car, but it only had 500 horses. Can you believe that? I mean, if you had a 500 horsepower car in the 1970s, you ruled everything. So what did we do? We bumped it to 725 horsepower, and we added wheels and tires and brakes and suspension and custom hood and things like that. Okay? Fast forward again. Now it's 2024. This car is by far the most highly contented Super Snake we've ever done. In addition to those things that made that 2007 a rock star, this car has that and so much more. And that's what's really, truly exciting. And when you look about this car, and Vince and I are going to walk through it here just in a minute, and talk about the different features that it has and the design cues that it has, and why that this car not only has content and not just stickers and scoops, but why some of this is so functional, right? So it's not just a pretty face, it's very functional. When you look at this car from 50 feet away, you can look at it and say, that's a Shelby. That's what we want. That's what people said in 2007. When everybody out there is tuning a Mustang, or they've got their own version of a high-performance Mustang, when you looked at a Super Snake in 2007, you knew it was a Shelby, and you knew it was a Super Snake. When you look at this car, the first thing you think of is that's a Shelby, and it's a Super Snake. And that's the message that we really want to send to people. And to talk about that a little bit more, we're going to do a little tag team here with my counterpart in crime, right? Vince LaViolette, Vice President of Shelby American, and he's also been around for well over 20 years. And the neat thing about that too is both of us, as Scott mentioned, our favorite suit zips up the front, and it comes with a helmet. it doesn't have a tie. So you have to raise the tie once in a while. But, this is what we'd like to do best. So I'd like to really kick it off with Vince talking about the design of this car and why it's functional and some of the features so that you can see it's not just somebody putting stripes on or a hood scoop on a stock hood. This thing goes far, far, far beyond that. So Vince, why don't you kick this off and tell us a little bit more about this design and how the team, you know, decided where stuff was and things like that. And Vince was largely responsible for the creation of this person. So Vince, why don't you take it over?
Very good, thank you. We're going to show the next one. Sure. This one here. Scott, is that on? We're okay to cover? Uncover? Listen, let's pull off the cover so you can go ahead and see what this convertible version looks like. There you go. All right, very nice. So when we did this car, we wanted to do a lot of different things. The main thing was function. So we sat down, we looked at the car. When we first got the original cars, the 24s, and we said, we want to do this, this, and this. How are we going to package all this? What are we going to do to make it better? So the first thing we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure we got proper air into the car. Make sure that we were able to, balance the car out in the front end, give it that aggressive look. But not only give it an aggressive look, make it functional. So everything we did on this car has function and form for a reason. Nice big front splitter on it. Nice wickers going up on the sides. We actually opened up the right-hand side venting on this car. So you notice on most 24s you don't have that. On ours, it's very balanced. We're able to put coolers on both sides. Traditional style Shelby front grille with the bar in the front. Plenty of air coming in on each side for our twin intakes on our supercharger. Brake ducting, all factory brake ducting in it, so we didn't, hamper anything there. You look at the hood. The hood's made out of aluminum. Very nice hood. We did some very nice extraction vents on it, all carbon fiber. Another nice thing is to save weight on this car, we actually have carbon fiber fenders also. We painted them over because we didn't want to take away from anything on the car. We want to bring the style, run it all the way down. Next to the headlights right here, we got these little areas right here. These are actually vents. We're actually bringing air into the engine compartment and we're ventilating out the back. The nice vents on the back of the fender are all functional. So everything's functional on this car all the way down. We try to lighten everything up. Very exciting. You look at these rims on here, these are actually magnesium rims. 19.5 pounds. So what does that mean? That's faster into the corner, better braking, better acceleration, less rotating mass. These are the kind of things that we want to bring to a street car that you can bring to the track and have a great day with. So these are just some of the exciting things on here.
So a lot of things that we're going to talk about today, and Vince is going to continue on in a minute and talk about some more of the exterior functions. But what I'd like you guys to also consider is when we have the brochures out here, you'll see things that you can't see. Like, you can kind of see the hardened wheel studs, okay? What you can't see is much of the Borla exhaust, but you can sure hear it, right? We're also going to look and you can see the upgraded rotors. Okay, it's got new rotors, it's got Shelby on the hat. Our new snake design is the center cap. So if you start looking at all the little Easter eggs, there's a whole lot more content in this car. To support 830 horsepower, it also has 1,500 horsepower capable half shafts in the back. So now you don't have to worry about it when you want to do that massive burnout, right? That thing will still do those kind of things. One of the reasons also that we've got some of these barriers up is we wanted to show you guys the car. It'll go into production in June. You'll see it midsummer out on dealer showrooms. But we don't have all of the production parts just yet. So some of the items here actually are 3D printed, but we'll have production parts here by the end of next month, first part of June. So we'll actually go into production. They will be in dealers' things. But when you first look at this thing, most of the stuff is really good. There's a couple little things that you might see that are just a little off, and it's because it's 3D printed and it's sitting in the sun. So keep those things in mind. Production parts, you're going to see a lot of OE quality with the gaps, the fit and finish, and those kind of things. So Vince, why don't you tell them a little bit more about some of the features of the car?
So we redesigned the rockers on the car. The reason we wanted to redesign the rockers is we wanted to sharpen up the side of the car. When you look down the side of the car, you can actually see how it's got a nice sharp line on the back right there. When you're farther away from the car, you look at it, it actually pulls that quarter panel and changes the look of the quarter panel. The rear deck lid on the car, you see the nice fin that comes off the deck lid itself. So we went with the European style look in the back, try to change the back end, try to bring that back fin back a little bit, incorporate it into the deck lid, and then of course the Super Snake with the second wing up on top. Very nice, all carbon fiber, all aluminum stands, moved forward on the deck lid. So the rear diffuser on the car is all carbon fiber, fully functional, and the Borley exhaust system.
Yeah, mentioning that, we'll start this thing up again so those that didn't see it on stage can actually hear it, because it's a bad boy. But carbon fiber, but the double dual exhaust tips that we worked on with Borla are 5-inch. So that's part of what gives it that real big beefy sound. So that's really neat. And then when you look inside, there's a lot of little things that we've done with the leather on the seats. It looks like snakeskin leather, those kind of things. When you open the door, you're not going to be able to see it today in the sun, but when you open the door, it's got a cool snake, Shelby stuff, comes out, and you can see that puddle lamp out here in the carpet. So you can see that stuff at night, but not so much during the day. So we've taken the S650 and we've really taken it to a whole new level in every way. So we're here to answer any questions that you guys might have, and talk a little bit more about the car. We'll put the hoods up, we'll get these things started, but with that we'll turn it back over to Scott before we actually do this.
Would anybody like to take one of these and put it in their garage? Yeah. We have a way for you to do that, because the VIN number 1 of the 2025 Super Snake, VIN number 1, is going to be part of a sweepstakes that JDRF is having. And so we have Gail Sandoval over here with JDRF. Gail, how much are tickets for the sweepstakes? Starts at $10. For $10, you can end up with one of these cars, and you get to pick any of the standard 4 colors, fastback or coupe, fastback or convertible, manual or automatic, and it will be VIN number 1 of the 2025, all for only a $10 donation to JDRF, which will help wipe out juvenile diabetes. In the meantime, if you're a member of the media, please come see me. We'd love to get you your own time, your own interviews, and talk about coming to Vegas at some point and maybe driving one of these bad boys. And for all of you that are interested, we have now put out the literature that Gary's talked about right over here on the table. Talk to Tim or talk to Cash or Gary or Vince. They would love to tell you more about these truly bad boy cars. We appreciate you being here, and with that, Gary, I think we're ready to wrap up.
Well, thanks. If those who want to stick around, we can show you under the hood. And once again, we'll start one of these things up. But, what you're going to look at, there's other things under the hood that you might recognize, like adjustable caster camber plates, badging, heavy-duty cooling system for bigger intercooler, bigger cooler for the supercharger, and more radiator cooling capacity, and so forth. So when you really start looking at this, we're willing to answer any questions you guys want, but take a look. Let's have any questions. Anyway, we're glad you guys are here.
Keys in it? We have to hear it again. have to do that.